Ridgeruckers fans everywhere. Welcome to the Week 7 recap video. It was a crazy week. We got a win against Jags, so the media is happy about that. The Blades Bowl occurred. That was pretty good. Also, trade happened between the commissioner and his farm team, a.k.a. Devontae's Inferno. It was pretty despicable and low-handed. Included some draft picks already this early in the season, which is funny because it's number 11, number 12 trading. So I don't know what the goal is there, but hey, it's your team. You manage it how you want to. All that being said, let's get right into it. Before we go any further, however, we need to start with the disclaimer. This is a comedy. Okay? The opinions expressed herein are probably not my own, nor the individual even making the comment at the time. If you are my employer, a future employer, a previous employer, a neighbor, a friend, a coworker, someone I know, nobody I know, and you're offended by this, stop watching. Okay? If you're easily offended, if you need safe places, if you consider yourself to be a snowflake or someone that the world gives a shit about, this video is not for you. We're here to talk trash, sometimes say intelligent things, and talk about fantasy football. So again, if you find yourself offended by this, it's a comedy. Get over it. All right, results from Week 7 had the media defeating Jags, as I already alluded to, 107-97 points. Devontae's Inferno with a massive upset over Suckaditka. They called it in last week's comment. They're going to beat two teams this season, and apparently Suckaditka is one of them. Beat the Dicka right off and putting up 98 points versus Suckaditka's league low 76.86 points. Social Justice Warrior defeated the Gender Unicorn 108-93 points. Nuttin' Butt Sacks beat Missing My Young Ho 117-104 points. Booty Lickers lost to the Roster Baiters 78-108 points, and Avoid the Noid with the league high 143.92 points, making a statement for why they think they're going to repeat this season against Dynasty Reimagined, putting up 110. A respectable score. Okay, those results had some movement in the standings. Avoid the Noid and the Booty Lickers still holding on to 1 and 2 spot, even with the loss this week. Social Justice Warrior climbs 2 to 3rd. Suckaditka and Missing My Young Ho fall 1 spot each to 4th and 5th. Roster Baiter climbs into the winner's bracket in 6th. The media climbs 1 up to 7th. Gender Unicorn falls 2 spots with that loss. Nuttin' Buttsex climbs up above Jags. Dynasty Reimagined and Devontae's Inferno holding on to 11th and 12th place. I don't know. 1 and 6. It's going to be a tough second half of the season for Devontae's Inferno. All that are your standings. All right, Week 8 matchups has the media going up against Suckaditka, see if he can get his Ditka back. Social Justice Warrior plays Dynasty Reimagined. Jags goes up against the Booty Lickers. Missing My Young Ho plays Gender Unicorn. Nuttin' Butt Sacks goes up against the Roster Baiters. And in the game of the week, I've got Devontae's Inferno against Avoid the Noid. That's right, 12 versus 1. I think if anybody can do it, Devontae's Inferno. I mean, Frodo did it against Sauron, so, I mean, why not, right? If anybody's got a shot, it's the guy in 12th place. Comments. Again, this week I went to the team owner Devontae's Inferno after his victory over Suckaditka. Told him it was a massive upset and reminded him that he was going to be in the game of the week against Avoid the Noid. Asked him what his message was, and this is what he had to say. Obviously, we are the underdog in this matchup, and I'm not really sure why the media is hyping it as the game of the week. I explained it. This will be a tough matchup, but the great thing about the NFL is you just never know what might happen. As for Avoid the Noid, unlike the rest of you, I have built up immunity to his poison. That and a few fireball shots and no effects to my system. So it will just come down to the players on the field as it should every week. Knowing him as I do, I thought that was actually quite a professional statement. Probably the most mature out of all of us. Spoke to team owner of Nuttin' Butt Sacks about his victory. Asked him what he had to say besides the fact that Team Suckaditka fucking sucks. Nuttin' Butt Sacks had a strong showing in Week 7, having another top 2 overall score. All of you yahoos complaining about Yahoo's analytics not being accurate should take note. If Missing My Young Ho concentrated on winning games, his stats would show instead of letting Yahoo decide for him. My team is coming and is coming hard, most likely on Roster Baiter's face in Week 8. Yucky. Team owner of Sucka Ditka did take time out of his busy week of extracting his Ditka from his internals, and this is what he had to say. Unfortunately for Team Ditka, there's no coming back from this loss. Losing to the Commissioner's farm team is by far the worst thing my Ditka has ever experienced. The media doubts it. I demand a full investigation by the law offices of Booty and Liquor to investigate the shady dealings of our unethical commissioner. Your request has been logged. Let the record show that Team Ditka recruits solid performers to join this league, like Avoid the Noid. Similar to the commissioner riding his dynasty, I don't think you can keep acting like you're a benefit to all of us for bringing him into this league anymore. Our unethical commissioner seems to be using his power as commish to pack this league full of supporters and comrades, pound drain the swamp. Caught up with team owner Social Justice Warrior, I asked him about his victory over his second mom and if there was any remorse. Absolutely no remorse. I do remember all those who predicted me to lose, however, including the media itself. Yeah, I did. Social justice has been achieved this week and my team is built for long-term success. Now that 2/3 of my team is no longer injured or suspended, the sky is the limit. Good luck to you. Number 2 team owner Booty Lickers had this to say after I asked him how he's doing considering he's lost several recently and how his team is managing up with all the injuries. Every week is a new rock bottom for us, and this past week was no different. I did my best to rally the troops, but they got roster baited all over. The morale in the locker room is low as everyone is depressed and demoralized over what Missing My Young Ho has done to our organization. The good news is that after posting 70 points and losing to the roster baiters, there's only one direction left to go: up. Matt Rule was very similar to Missing My Young Ho. He existed to bring pain, misery, and sabotage to the Panthers. After they banished him to the dark corners of time, the Panthers blew out Tommy B. Expect a similar result this week as we look to bounce back against a resurgent Dirty D. He's coming for you, Jags. Clinch that booty. And finally, our league leader, team owner of Avoid the Noid, had this extensive comment for the league. Last week in my comments, I talked about all the different ways our commissioner had reimagined things in his life. And then he goes out and gives us another example. How to score the 3rd most points in the league and still lose a fantasy football game, reimagined. This week I face another team with an equally confusing team name. Your worst nightmare? Formerly known as Devontae's Inferno, by the way. Who would ever name their fantasy football team Waking Up Without Your Penis? Actually, hang on, that's just a nightmare. My worst nightmare is waking up without my penis, but then being canceled because I didn't embrace becoming a eunuch. It's a big word. Which is still a really weird name for a fantasy football team. So I guess I just call me old-fashioned, but 1, I don't reimagine how to win fantasy football games, I just win them. 2, I enjoy waking up with my penis and would never want to name my fantasy football team after my fear of being canceled for not accepting being castrated. And 3, as always, I would never ever let my friends eat Domino's pizza. Someone should tell them that when they castrate you, you keep your penis. Well, there you have it, fans. Pretty basic recap video this week with lots of good comments. And as I mentioned, team owner of Devontae's Inferno has reimagined the farm team name and are now Your Worst Nightmare. I guess. That's going to be his one team name change for the year, though, because I don't like to distract my fans with a bunch of strange team names that they can't follow throughout the season. All right, all that being said, signing off for the evening. I got some drinking to do. Remember, fantasy football is all that matters. So talk trash and beat your neighbor.